baby. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Share with anybody you know. Get them in this live before we get started here, okay? Feel the vibes of just passing through. That's chill. And get the setup here. Yo, all right. If you're here in the chat, say hello in the chat, okay, baby? So we're gonna do a general energy read. Let's get some cleansing in us first, though. If you consent to sage cleansing, say, I consent. Make sure you like the video, too. And get everyone in the group before we get started officially, okay? Please say hi in the chat. And where are you tuning in from? I have here a selenite wand here with some rose quartz. Termination here. Hold still, okay? Again, you consent to said cleansing. Say, I consent. We're doing an energy, the stagnant energy removal here, okay? Let's go ahead and pinpoint here. Stay still. Take a deep breath. Yes, welcome everybody in the chat. We're pinpointing those negative stagnant energies that are within. All right, stay still. Take a deep breath. Thank you, universe. All right. Rewriting our own destiny. Our destiny is in our hand, my beloved. You're rewriting things in your overall highest benefit. Beautiful collective, baby. Thank you, universe. All right. How's everyone doing, y'all? Say hello in the chat if you're there, okay? Let's see here. Yo, welcome in the chat, y'all. Glad to have you. So we're gonna pull from the Tabula Mundi Tarot here, okay? See what messages here. If you have any personal questions, please feel free to direct them. Oh, that one almost went over the candle. Make sure you like the video and share with anybody you know. It does help me in the algorithm, baby. It'd be very helpful. And it's free. So you got some change coming your way. How are you handling this kind of change is the question. I feel there's a lot of wheels spinning and circulating. Probably some thoughts. Let's try to get some focusing on there. Focusing camera. You see that? It's only a matter of time before you finally, if you don't take decisive action, I feel that circumstances could happen that you may not really, it might not be the most ideal. So whoever I'm speaking to now in the collective, you know, if you're juggling a lot of things as you're going through some kind of change and some kind of overhaul, but there's some kind of need to take action on your own, or it's encouraged, because you don't want things to collapse potentially, but what does that even mean for you? Maybe you're even trying to figure that out. Discs, pentacles, aka earth energy. So it's definitely having to do with your stability, and it's just emphasized here with all the thoughts that are circling in. I might have to cover her up a little bit, but shows like a divine feminine goddess here. Princess of Discs. That spiritual realm. Let me see, can you see that? Yeah, something like that. Yes, Princess of Discs. Earth of Earth. So you kind of already know what you need to do. Question is just, it's now about merging with that masculine energy and executing your plan, which is already within you anyways. Ironically, we talk about the princess, now we have the Prince of Discs. Literally just showed up right there. Focusing. There's something symbolic about this ox, though, that is pulling him. It has to do with a lot of labor and a lot of work that you've had to do to get you to where you are. And to some extent, you're still pulling yourself along, you feel me? Let me see, catch up with this chat here. Okay, here we go. I couldn't see the chat for a second. Cassie, hi, how are you? Britt, the Alchemist. That's a cool, I like the username there. Are you an anime fan? Have you seen Full Metal Alchemist? That's pretty awesome. And are you a OG or are you a Brotherhood fan? Anybody that knows in the chat, feel free to put your comments on there. Interact, baby. But it's time for you to now bring your plans into fruition that you've been kind of brewing from within. And only you know what it is. Princess of Swords. I think now it's kind of like a breaking point in a way. Shout out to Medusa fans as well, right here. But you see right here on this card on the top shows Medusa fans. And I think now you've kind of turned your head. And now, like, painstakingly so, I just want to make it clear, it hasn't been easy for you to adopt this kind of new mindset in a way that you kind of flaunting your grace, whatever that means to you. And I don't feel it's in an egoic way, but now, Princess of Swords, you're starting to, these intuitive insights, you know that when you allow yourself to believe and trust in them when they first come, that you're a force to be reckoned with. And you show them teeth, baby. You show them teeth when you harness your own energy. And Medusa's right there to back you up, you know what I mean? With, you know, always seek permission, obviously, when interacting with entities, but that kind of energy, she's like got your back and like, you know what I mean? That you're gonna be protected and it's okay to take some calculated action. And now you've almost had to kind of painstakingly so develop a kind of F it attitude, respectfully with love, right? Kind of like jester or carefree attitude is kind of what I just, maybe you could be the jokester in your family, but very dramatic in a way. And you've kind of like done with it, you know what I mean? And to me, this is kind of this, let me try to reenact this here, this pose, okay? It's, I feel that whoever I'm speaking to is finally embracing their divine truth, which is that divine duality, right? Staff of Hermes, right? There's an official name for it, but, and then now you're like, you've been wielding the power, but resisting doing so, even though, because you know it, you're trying to keep up facades. I just saw a smile in the smoke. You're trying to keep up masks that were never meant to be there for longer than a time frame, maybe just to protect yourself. Now it's time for you to break out, and maybe you've been in a circumstance where now the universe is forcing their way to your authenticity, baby. And now it's just, now you're kind of like, you're doing one of these, you're like, okay, universe, I'm holding the scepter in my hand. I don't want to see, like, I don't wish nothing bad on anybody. I kind of don't want to see what's coming to them, but you're just like trusting that, you know, people that have done you wrong, you don't have to do anything, you know what I mean? That, you know, your success as a human being and as a soul and listening to your intuition, that's going to be more powerful than anything, you know what I mean? And your evolution, anytime that you evolve and you get closer to the sun, there's going to be people of all kinds coming your direction. There's going to be the good and the ones that are triggered by your existence because of all the work that you put into your own life and taking care of yourself for once, which to others may seem cold, and you're giving them the cold shoulder. It's called boundaries, baby. And I'm feeling like a huge knot in my chest here. So I don't know if like a lot of this stuff, I may be channeling on some anxiety by people in the collective as well. But I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. I also drank some caffeine too, so that could be part of it too. But we are divine collective, you feel me? Sunshine, yo. Thank you so much for liking the video. And anybody that has not, or if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you have done so, baby. Okay? Because it's all about your taking your reign and your power, baby. Right here, the Two of Wands shows up on the bottom of the deck here. Like a phoenix from the ashes, baby, or a hawk. You see that? You have sharp wit and perception that is undeniable if you allow yourself to believe it. That's the question. I think there's a lot of self-doubt and a lot of old mindsets that you've also have to kind of like trim as you're kind of fully embodying and embracing even the other aspects of yourself which you have neglected for so long. Someone needed to hear that. But we have a few cards here that showed up, okay? And I think this will be the last of the tarot before I'll move on, okay? Tower moments, baby. Tower moments galore. Hasn't been easy, what'd I tell you? Hasn't been easy. Oh, it's good to inject some humor into things though, baby, and have a little lighthearted stance because like your perception is going to make or break your being able to find stability and comfort. Does that make sense? I say this jokingly, but I say this like very seriously. I think in a lot of like humor and a lot of like comics and a lot of like entertainment and media, you know, they say things on a meme stance, but there's some truth to some of these things. So like that dog in the house that's burning, holding up a cup of coffee and says everything is fine. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying to actually obviously do anything risky. It's just an analogy though, is that despite everything seemingly, you know, coming apart externally, being able to find your inner peace and your inner calm no matter what is going on. And that is going to stand out more than anything that you have to even try to do. I think, you know, and those are times that sometimes we need to retreat our energy from those that have especially been siphoning it, have been taking our energy, because just dealing with a certain level of collapse is very energy draining in the first place. You see, I'm right now looking at all these lightning bolts, all the energy that has been expended throughout this whole churning process of refinement. And like I'm thinking, I'm envisioning right now, what's coming to mind is like a very hot smelting furnace, like you see in like the MMOs or like RuneScape, or like any RuneScape or World of Warcraft fans out there. But RuneScape, I think specifically, was smelting and things like that. Needless to say, it's not about the game. It's about the fact is that it's like this huge churning of things that, you know, anytime that you put something into it, it's disintegrating, like the coal, whatever it is, they make it hot. You feel me? While also on the other end, sometimes they be blowing the air to increase the volume of the flame. So that is you speaking your truth and speaking your power, which just, it just develops this huge cascade of power within yourself that eventually needs to be released and does get released. But then what happens when you get it hot enough, you get at that perfect temperature of like smelting and being able to forge something new. And you probably had to melt yourself, like, you know, it's an analogy, but like just kind of like totally reinvents who you are in your existence. And that's takes a lot of work, you know what I mean? So props to you, baby, for doing that work. I feel that who I'm speaking to has done a lot of work to get to where they are now. Yes, see? Look at that. Prince of Wands right there. That's the physicality element of this. The masculine energy is you taking that charge and you having things come into fruition in the existence where people can view and see your progress. And to you, I feel that sometimes you're feeling that in some of the things that you've been doing and the ways that you've been changing, the way you've been acting and doing things, that you think that you're all over the place, but other people see you as this fiery warrior that's not someone to mess with. You feel me? So, the Korenlan. I didn't say, I'm trying to Keep it short. Thank you so much. Hello in the chat. Make sure you subscribe. I love you. Come on in. Picking up some powerful energy right now. Someone that's just finally taking charge of their life and knowing how much power that they have, knowing that it's all but gain when you focus on the self here. 9 of Pentacles there. That's that stability, baby. And you know you're on the cusp of something great, that this too shall pass. Earth energy, that this too shall pass after this tower moment that you're experiencing right now, to get you evolved and get you to a heightened sense of happiness and stability. But remember, that's also based on how you perceive happiness and what is happiness to you. Make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with anybody else you know. My love, beautiful Mystic Royal Collective. Check out the description as well for more information. If you want to reach out to me directly, reach out to me on Instagram, and maybe we could set up a reading if that's what you really want. Let me see. I'm sure this coffee is cold by now. Thank you, universe. It's the spirit of the coffee bean, by the way. So if you want to get into kind of more in tune with the, you know, the natural elements of things, even as simple as a cup of coffee. It all started with the coffee bean at the end of the day, which came from Mother Gaia, and there are, just like there are with anything, there are spirits attached to everything. So you become surprised at the insights that if with intention you say, hey, thank you, spirit of the coffee bean, for this beautiful cup of coffee. It's now cold, but straight up motor oil, baby. Anyways, give me 1 second. Spy fry. What's this? Hold on 1 second. Okay. I guess the message just appeared. I didn't even see it. So, Spy Fi, welcome. And let's continue. So this one's kind of popping out to me on the top. Forgive and forget. That's kind of where you stand. You're like, c'est la vie, see you later. And you're kind of like done with it. You're kind of getting yourself finally stabilized. This dice showed up the number 6, and it showed it in parallel. I feel that maybe you'd be keeping yourself secluded and protecting your energy. And if you're not already, maybe that's encouragement to do so, okay? So I'm gonna be careful how much to show here, but essentially like you protecting yourself, but at the end of the day, forgiving and forget. This just shows on the top, okay? So this is the boom, Bird of Prey Oracle deck, okay? Any other messages here for the collective? So this may be a new energy we're picking up, or it could be a continuing. So again, take what resonates and leave the rest. And just know that sometimes it could be a continuous message for some, or some parts may or may not resonate for everyone. So, wow, this looks so wild, yo. And I think this is definitely symbolic of like how people are seeing you right now. Seeing you as a star, even though honestly I don't think you want the attention, to be honest. I think you're trying to keep a low profile, but you're still attracting attention nonetheless. So look at this amazing artwork here. Props to the team that made this deck. That's so cool. Look at that. So you had to dive into the shadows. That's you right there. But now you're kind of finally understanding that your healing can also be a deterrent from people that probably shouldn't even be in your life. That's just kind of what came up. Quantum jumping, perhaps. The word quantum at the top here. Shifting through realities, baby. Are you moving through the Merkaba? This could be symbolic of a, it's not the same shape, obviously, but of a Merkaba in a way. But look very closely, though. While it's saying that you're, you know, you shining is kind of warding other people off, because it looks like little tiny little, it looks like little blades or something like that at the edge of the star, you know what I mean? But your presence is commanding even when you don't mean it to be. And it can be intimidating to some, you know what I mean? Especially those that aren't doing the inner work and perhaps have relied on you for such comforts. The bottom it also shows labyrinth. You know, you've worked very hard to get to where you are, which is why you've made it finally at the root of things, in the middle of things. And now you've been able to harness the energy and the knowledge and stamina that you have developed and acquired to not only be able to protect yourself, just be careful to don't, you know, leave little openings like you see here for some love and some things, but you're not a person to mess with. You're not a person to mess with. Sunshine, welcome back, baby. Jazzy Bella, welcome, hello. Always looking good, has always been. Thank you, thank you. Beautiful Mystic Royal Collective. Keep shining bright like the star that you are. Let's see, the bottom of the deck here of this Bird of Prey Oracle here. Tomorrow, dream undone. Are you a dreamer? Or maybe you've been doing some dream work? For those that practice or understand that your dreams have a lot more significance than you probably realize. And even in those instances, a lot of insights that and downloads you may be receiving without even knowing it. Lightning bolt showing up here to me is like a spark of inspiration, and at the bottom it showed up right side up, you getting hold of your destiny, charging your truth up. And if you aren't already doing it, maybe encouraging you to do a practice to call your energy back to you. Dive into the hidden elements that you may have overlooked. If you're not getting enough rest, make sure you're doing it, you know. Don't shame yourself for the rest that you know that you deserve, my love. Feel the sage cleansing once again. I think I might close it off here pretty soon. Let's do a little encouraging. This is like a little pep talk, and that could be confirmation right there. Let me look at this one that fell on the floor. Look, baby, what am I talking about earlier? It's all about the mindset, right? Confirmation right there. Happiness is a choice I make. It's a reminder right there. It all starts with you, baby. It all starts with the happiness and love that you give to yourself. Let's take a little shuffle here and see if any other message comes up here. Oh, so look at this. This one was on the bottom of the deck and it did show up in a past reading. I put it back in the deck, even though it showed up, and now it literally just showed up again. It's all about your perception, baby. I choose to reinterpret my fears with a more loving perspective. So maybe understanding like what is the universe trying to teach me right now in the here and now, despite these perceived trials, right? How can I choose to see this from a more loving perspective and know that even through the midst of trials that my guides, whatever it is that you believe, that you are protected and divinely exactly where you need to be, you know what I mean? And see that as like, oh, you know what? This was tough, but you know, I look back and it's like, yeah, I'm so much of a stronger person and I have remembered who I am more now than before. And I think it's not about learning, it's about unlocking what has already been within. And if you choose to think of things like that as achievement unlocked, like a video game, right? That you going through certain trials, it's only gonna unlock more things for you that are already yours. You just gotta make certain choices and take certain action, and also in the midst of it. Doesn't mean it's easy, but change the way that you think about things, your mindsets. Even though this is not the tarot, it shows a lot of like sword analogy here, right? And that's sometimes you probably rack your mind ragged. Some of these, one blade is broken, one is like about to crack, and the other one's still standing strong. And that is the one, and ironically, the ones trying to put up a facade and the ones that are sticking up here are the ones that have been taking the brunt of the damage and has been like, because sometimes we are never meant to keep up certain facades to try to adapt with society, because we are a unique soul. And I think it's very fitting that this one blade in the middle is pointing downwards, because it's time for you to remember and forgive your past self for your perceived flaws. And maybe, yes, some things you probably regret doing, right? But it all starts with the self. You get rooted into who you are, forgiving yourself and letting those things go, allowing yourself the freedom. Because the freedom of your mind starts with you, and it starts with the active choice of you changing your life for yourself. Doesn't mean that you don't have any external guidance, because divinity exists inside and outside of the self. Troy Marthinus, hopefully I said that right. Welcome in the chat. Say hello, make sure you're subscribed, yo. Everyone, make sure you share with anybody you know. So just to reiterate, I choose to reinterpret my fears with a more loving perspective. So that's beautiful. Thank you, universe, having that still come out again. So someone needed to hear that, okay? Maybe just because I'm feeling a little energized randomly, I'm gonna pull from one more deck. Beautiful goddess Lilith. We're gonna pull from the universe guides. Goddess Lilith. Oh, that one just flew, you see that? Maybe you didn't. What's up? The universe really wanting to hear a message of something, my love, baby, because this one was on the bottom. I shuffled a little bit, shot out. And we're gonna settle with these three here, and it's perfect, makes sense. Dark Moon Void. This is here initially at the bottom. I did a quick little shuffle and it was itching to come out, and it came out. And this is that self-discovery of knowing exactly, finally figuring out what it is that you want. And this is like a shadow work deck too. So maybe there's like an imposter syndrome of you telling yourself that you're not worthy of things in your life when you definitely are, because you are divine God, goddess, or whatever you want to say, call yourself, you know what I mean? And it's time for you to dip into that void within the self, baby, and figure out exactly who you are. And you'll come to realize too, the deeper you go within the self, the more actual expansion you actually get, which then translate into your reality. And obviously, it also is your belief that you are doing anything, right? The mind can make or break your experience. So yeah, there's gonna be people that are gonna say, hey, all this BS, well, hey, if that's what you believe, then it will continue to manifest that way for you. But if you have even faith or just belief in yourself, just a little bit, or maybe you come to a point where you need to try something different. So trust in your instincts, even if it has nothing to do with spirituality. Trust in your day-to-day instincts and your guidance. And like, what am I being guided to and why? Am I in control of my own life? Or am I making this choice or decisions in my life at the sacrifice of myself? So I honor the sacred pause, understanding that creation begins in silence and the void. Dark Moon, Void, 13 could be significant. There are 13 zodiac signs, technically, if you look at the other calendar. That's a whole different thing altogether. But the collective energy that we put into things is what's going to make or break your experience, my love. So we got here Martin Hampson. Yo, what's up? Happy summer. I hope it's going great for you. Beautiful. So we have rebirth. It's just literally what we've been talking about through this whole experience. If you're in, make sure you like the video and make sure you subscribe, baby, in case a connection goes on for whatever. But through this tower moment, this is what the rebirth has been. Look, this is symbolic right here. And you have the guidance wings of protection over you. Goddess Lilith is known by many things. One of the things is like a vampire queen or something. I think I've seen something like that. So pretty cool in my opinion. 8 could be significant for you. Turn 8 horizontally, you get infinity, baby, and that's who you are. Rebirth. I embrace the end of an old cycle, hence tower moment, right? I embrace the end of an old cycle, opening my wings to rebirth and flying into my new life. Yes, baby, that's what I'm talking about. That's you. That's you, baby. All right, and the third card to seal things off. Again, make sure you followed and subscribe. And I know if you are, I love you. You're beautiful. This is that duality we were talking about, and we talked about it with the staff of Hermes, who we showed earlier, with the divine union of the dualistic nature, the intertwining snakes, and we have here half woman, half snake duality. I may have to cover a certain portion here, but representative of the dragoness that talking to Eve, it looks like. The dual forces within me unite, integrated my wild spirit with my curious heart. Say that again. The dual forces within me unite, integrating my wild spirits with my curious heart. That's beautiful. But I think this is more about confronting the parts of all aspects and full acceptance of the self. Does that make sense? So, I think that might be a good place to end it right there, collective, okay? Let's see, we had the number 6. I'll finish the rest of these dice here and see what numbers come up, okay? Oh! You number 1, baby. That's the one that fell on the floor, and I don't think you're really recognizing how much of a number 1 you are. You gotta embrace that, baby. Here's a guy number 1 again. Number 1, baby. You number 1, baby. And then, wow, 2 3s. So you really seeking that duality, baby. That's what it is. You're really seeking that dualistic nature. So we have literally 2 1s, 2 3s, and a 6 that showed up. Baby, you rocking this out. That's so funny. Like 2 and 2, we had 4 dice left, and we got 1 1 3 3. To me, that's just confirmation of that whole synchronicity of the right brain and the left brain. The left side is the receiving side. Everybody's that feminine side of receiving, that could even be receiving insights from the universe. And then the right side is the masculine side, where we channel our abundant energy and we make our dreams into reality and into fruition, baby. Make sure you subscribed. Let's close it off with a closing cleansing, because why not? If you want to say anything in the chat, say hello, baby, in the chat if you're still here, okay? I have this one wand here, natural earth here. I've cleansed it over. Yes. If you consent to closing, you're closing these energies out here. Thank you so much, universe. And I hope that those who have meant to hear a certain message at the time that they have, hopefully that they have received it in due time. This is a timeless message, so at any time this shows up in your feed, could be a sign, okay, my love? So take a deep breath with me, hold still. If you consent, say I consent to this energy cleanse as we close things off. Hold still, my love. Thank you, universe. Awesome, beautiful baby. Have a beautiful day. We will talk soon, okay? Ciao, mi amor. Turn this live off. Subscribe.